In today's note, we are going to be looking at the equation of a circle with center 0, 0, or basically the center is at the origin. So just as a definition, a circle is the set of all points in a plane, so basically in an x and a y plane, that are the same distance from a fixed point, the center. The distance from the center of a circle to any point on the circle is called the radius. So if we're looking at our circle here, this line, or this circle, the line that represents a circle, basically those are all points, or you could argue that they're all points side by side in every space, and the distance from each point to the center here is the same. So it's just, we know what a circle is by looking at it. This is just another way to describe it. And if the center of the circle is at point 0, 0, so again at the origin right here, and the radius is r units, so if I were to draw a line out, so again the radius is from the center out, and this is considered r units, then the equation of a circle is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. And again, that should look a little bit familiar. It should look similar to Pythagorean theorem. And again, the reason for that is because if I have my radius here, and I were to draw or make it into a triangle where it would, the radius or the endpoint was r units high, or sorry, y units high, and then x units long, or left to right, the equation would be x squared plus y squared equals r squared. And again, it's very similar to the length of a line segment, although because the origin, or sorry, the one endpoint is 0, 0, when you subtract 0, it doesn't really change it, right? It wouldn't change. So whatever this point of where the radius is, or where it touches, it's just going to be x and y from that point. So and that's where we kind of come up with this formula. So in example 1, write the equation of the circle with center 0, 0 and the radius of 1/2 units. So I have my formula for such a circle. X squared plus y squared equals r squared. But instead of r squared, I know what the radius is. So x squared plus y squared equals 1/2 squared. And then if I simplify that, x squared plus y squared equals 1/4. And this right here, that is my equation of the circle. So the key thing is, if we know what the radius is, we have to plug it in and then solve for what that is squared, and then that becomes our equation of the circle. Example 2, a circle with the center 0, 0 passes through the point 6, -8. Find the equation of the circle. So this is a little bit different because we're given a point, not the radius. So I'm going to start off with my formula for such a circle with the center 0, 0. I know 2 points because I know the x and y, or sorry, I know 1 point, so I can fill in my x and y. So the x becomes 6 squared plus -8 squared equals r squared. If I simplify, 36 plus 64 equals r squared. 100 equals r squared. Now, if you wanted to find the specific radius, you could go one step further and take the square root of that, so r would equal 10. But in terms of the equation, all I really need for the equation, so I know the x squared plus y squared, all I need is the r squared value, so 100 for the equation. If the question asked what is the radius of a circle that passes through center 0, 0 with the point 6, -8, then you would have to say and go one step further to figure out that the radius is 10. But if it's asking for the equation, all you really need is that r squared value. B, what is the other endpoint of the diameter that passes through 6, -8. So if I have my equation here, or I have my center here at 0, 0, and I have my point over here at 6, -8, I want to know if I were to draw a straight line through the center to hit that radius, what is the point on the other side? What is this other endpoint? And basically, one thing you can think of, if I already know one point and it has to have the same radius, the only thing that's going to switch, or sorry, the only thing that's going to change is basically just these points. And they're only going to change by a little bit because they have to be the same number, but in order for it to work, it's going to have to be a negative x value and a positive y value, just based on the quadrant that it's located in, right? Anything in this quadrant, the y values are going to be positive and the x values are going to be negative. And I know that this is going to be the other end because if I were to calculate the equation using this point and this center, 0, 0, I would get the exact same answer. Again, if you just want to kind of write as a definition, remember our diameter is the line segment that joins 2 points on a circle and passes through the center. Of the circle. And then we have our radius, which is the line segment from the center of the circle to any point on the circle. So just some definitions again if we're unclear of what we were trying to solve for. Moving on, example 3. A stone is dropped in the water and sends out ripples whose radius increases at 5 centimeters per second. Find the equation of the outer ripple 12 seconds after the stone is dropped. So if my stone is dropped at the center and let me see. And it puts out basically these rings or these ripples come out and they increase every 5 seconds. We want to know or come up with an equation for the ripple 12 seconds after it's dropped. So basically we will need to know kind of the radius, and we know that eventually it's going to get out to a point. If it's 12 seconds and it increases 5 centimeters per second, then after 12 seconds my radius has to equal 60 or 5 times 12. Right? That's the only way that this can work, is my radius is 60. So something like that. And now I need to come up with an equation. I know it's going to be x squared plus y squared equals r squared. I'm going to assume that the center is at 0, 0. It doesn't tell me, but I know that at least I can assume that since it's not on a graph, that I can place the center wherever I feel or it fits. X squared plus y squared equals r squared. X squared plus y squared equals 60 squared, or my radius squared. And if I simplify this, x squared plus y squared equals 3600. So therefore, the equation of the outer ripple is x squared plus y squared equals 3600. And there's my equation. Example 4, same idea. Again, center 0, 0 with the radius of 4. So nothing too tricky. X squared plus y squared equals r squared. X squared plus y squared equals, and I know my radius is 4, so 4 squared. I simplify x squared plus y squared equals 16 is my equation of this circle. The next example, center 0, 0 passing through the point 9, 10. So again, x squared plus y squared equals r squared is going to be my formula. I'm not given the radius this time, but I am given the point, or a point, so I can plug that in. So 9 squared plus 10 squared equals r squared. I can simplify 181 equals r squared. And again, because all I'm concerned about is the equation, I don't need to simplify this any further. So x squared plus y squared equals 181 is the equation of the circle. If it did ask for what is the radius of a circle with center 0, 0 passing through this point, then I would have to square root that 181. But because it's just asking for the equation, I don't need to worry about simplifying it or finding the square root of that. Example 5, given x squared plus y squared equals 50, determine if the following points are inside, on, or outside of the circle. And I'm given 4 points here. So what we have to do here, I'm going to create a table, or not a table, but a kind of a chart, because we are going to need to do left side equals right side. And I'll explain once I'm done this, about why we need to do that. So again, just kind of jumping ahead, creating a table. I will be doing left side equals right side because that is important to help us determine where our points lie. So I'm going to do left side equals right side, and based on my formula, the right side in all of them will equal 50. So again, just jumping ahead, filling that out. But the left side, the right side will always equal 50. My left side, I know, is going to be the x squared plus y squared. And I'm going to fill in the points that I know, or that I'm given. So in this case, -2 and 7. So -2 squared plus 7 squared. And I get 53. So what this means, I know that the two don't work. So left side does not equal right side. So based on our past knowledge, this point, the two that we're given in A, -2, 7, is not a point on this line, or in this case, this circle. But now we need to know, is it inside or outside of the circle? Well, because 53 is greater, let me redraw that, is greater than 50, that means that if I were to use the point -2, 7 in my equation, I would get a radius squared of 53. So that means the radius using this point is larger than the one from my equation. So that means that therefore it's outside the circle, because the radius that I found using the point is larger than the one I'm given. If I do the next one, again, same idea, x squared plus y squared, and we know it equals 50, so x squared is 4 squared plus -3 squared, and we simplify that, we get 25. So because 25 is less than 50, or basically what it's saying is when I use this point in the equation, I get a smaller radius. That means this point has to be inside my circle. For example C, again, still x squared plus y squared. So I get 6 squared plus 4 squared, which equals 40. 40 again is less than the right side, or 50. So therefore, it is inside the circle. And then lastly for D, x squared plus y squared, I get 5 squared plus 5 squared equals 50. So because in this case 50 does equal 50, therefore it's on the circle, or basically it's on this line. So from this note, you should be getting, again, or the main thing is that the equation of a circle with center 0, 0 is in the form x squared plus y squared equals r squared. And r represents the radius. If you're trying to figure out if a point is inside, on, or outside the circle, do left side equals right side, and then compare your two values. If it's greater than the r squared, it's outside. If it's less than, it's inside. And if they're the same, then it's on the circle.